Hello, happy Wednesday, Dr. Dan Yachter, and this is my news, views, and weekly update segment. And of course, you are inside of our private group, My Family, My Mission, and I'm excited to be bringing you this segment every Wednesday, and I am honored that you're part of our group, My Family, My Mission, and of course, we're going to continue to bring you great content. And this week, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be wrapping up, we're going to be tying it up, putting a bow on the masterclass information regarding weight loss, because this upcoming Tuesday, we have a Heart Smart Master class. How to build a healthy heart, how to get it healthy, or how to get it healthier, or maybe reverse some of the issues you could be having with your heart. That's going to be on the 17th, Tuesday, February 17th, and that's going to be 6:30 p.m. right here, held at the office, and we would love for you to join us. Please come, please join us. Be part of our learning and growing and elevating community. We would love to have you part of it. And we're going to go ahead and jump in and just kind of wrap it up here. We're going to be talking about weight loss and mindset and stress resilience. And this is a very important topic when it comes to weight loss, hardly ever addressed, but weight loss and stress have a lot to do with one another. Your ability to lose weight, keep it off, really has everything to do with not just stress, but the hormones that are released in chronic stress, things like cortisol and even insulin. And we're going to talk a little bit about this, and really from a different perspective than you may you may have thought, or have you ever thought about, in regards to why can't I lose weight and keep it off. But again, mark your calendars. We want you here for that upcoming masterclass. It's going to be on the 17th, and it's all going to be about getting the heart healthy and keeping it healthy and strong. So we're going to be talking about mindset and stress resilience at our masterclass. Is what we mention and refer to stinking thinking, right? Stinking thinking, or again, stinking thinking, right? What are the thoughts that are going on right here all day long? How are you processing them, and what type of maybe modalities, what type of techniques, what type of ways are you managing your stress, the way it's impacting your mind, the way you're carrying it around all day? How is it directing, controlling your life? Or maybe proactively, assertively, you are doing things that are not allowing it to take over your life or take over your mind and make you less productive than you could be or should be. So stress, really what I have found, it never stops coming in life. Would you agree with me? It just never stops. So my take, and the way I teach this topic, my take on stress is really not trying to get rid of the stress, but building up resilience, building up a capacity or reservoir that will allow you to have the ability to process that stress, whether it's physical, emotional, or chemical stress, to process that stress well and move on and be successful in life, and not allow it to be an anchor on your mind, an albatross around your neck. How do you develop resilience against the stress, again, that's never going to stop coming, right? Life is full of it. It never stops. Whether it's financial, familial, whether it's physical stress, whatever it may be, it's always going to be there. We can't get through life or get out of life without these stresses impacting us. So the way we teach about it, and really this shows up in many of the master classes that I teach, it comes down to, again, building up resilience. How do you build up stress resilience? Well, I have found the number one way to do it is by way of sleep, because as General Patton said in World War I, and also, I believe Vince Lombardi, the coach of the Green Bay Packers, is credited as saying, fatigue makes cowards of us all, right? So when you are tired, you just don't respond, or you don't react to stress the same way you would as if you were well rested. Okay, your mind, your body had to have a good night's rest versus opposed to not having a good night's rest. You're going to have a very different day. When stress comes your way, it's going to be very different in terms of how you process it and how you respond to it. Not only that, but your response determines Your hormonal response, your emotional response, your mental response to the stress determines the physiological response. What happens endocrinology wise in your body? What is that response? What are the hormones that are released? How does your neurology? Are you going to be going toward parasympathetic? Are you processing the stress from a water off a duck's back perspective, or are you internalizing it and going into fight or flight and, having your gas pedal pinned down? Like, which side of your neurology are you flipping to when you encounter threats, perceived threats, physical, emotional, chemical stress? Are you trying to process it properly in a relaxed way, or are you going into fight or flight, right into gas pedal mode? So depending upon how you not just perceive the stress, but how you internalize it, that's going to determine which hormones are released. But again, most people respond intensely. If you have a continual stressful things in your environment, chances are your stress hormones are going to be chronically elevated. Things like cortisol. Again, stress increases cortisol production. That's the adrenal glands, their response to stress. Cortisol goes up. And that is, think of it this way, when cortisol goes up, think of you driving down a road and all the different cars and service vehicles, maybe municipality type of vehicles are going by, police cars, fire trucks, everything's in a mix together. However, if there's an emergency, say there's a fire somewhere and a fire truck is coming by or an ambulance is coming by, then the roads clear out and that road becomes dedicated to the ambulance. And that's what happens with chronic levels of stress. So, your cortisol takes priority. All the other hormones are put off to the side, including testosterone, estrogen production, DHEA, progesterone. All these hormones of the body are pushed aside in production, and cortisol is elevated. The emergency vehicle takes over, and it really dominates things in the body. And along with that elevated cortisol, stress hormone, insulin goes up. And insulin is a fat production, fat storage, and fat retention hormone. So sleep deprivation creates problems. Adequate sleep, good, proper amount of time in bed, the proper amount of time to sleep, the preparation you do before you get into bed, the proper amount of light, deep sleep, REM sleep. This is all very important. And if you have it dialed in properly, one of the ways I manage and evaluate is through my Oura Ring, the quality of sleep. Sleep creates stress resilience. Stress, that helps lower cortisol, lower insulin, helps your hormones balance, and it helps you lose weight. More importantly, easily keep it off without drugs. Okay, so that's what's going on in regards to our conversation surrounding stress and its ability to make you fat, keep you fat, or keep excess fat on the body. So a couple of last tips as we wrap this segment up for sleep optimization. Set up your sleep environment for recovery and stress resilience. Very, very important. And try not to, one of the things that disturbed my sleep last night, I had a major sleep disturbance. My Oura Ring app, if I could show it to you, I would show it to you. I'd turn my phone around. But on the app that I opened up this morning, it said, there was a major stressor going on. And I know what it was. I went to have a Zevia last night for dinner, and I grabbed the wrong one. There's one or two that have caffeine in it, and I don't do well with caffeine typically, and certainly at night. If you give me caffeine at night, some people it does nothing to them. They just go right to sleep. For me, I don't do well. I'll be up, or if I do go to sleep, I'll be restless all night. So I strained my body because I grabbed the cola Zevia and not the one that with the caffeine, and not a good idea. So caffeine, heavy food, blue light devices, looking at iPhones, iPads, or phones in general, whatever brand you have, iPads, alcohol, and stressful news. Don't watch your news app before you go to sleep. Don't doom scroll before you go to sleep. Instagram, Facebook, and it's my stuff, of course, right? But be careful with that stuff, especially heavy food and caffeine. Some really good practices you want to put in play. Get up the same time, evening walks. I don't do heavy exercise at night, but if I do a light walk, it really helps me with my sleep. I know one thing that when my step count is high, if I get up to around 8 or 9, 10,000 steps for the day, I tend to sleep better than if I get maybe half the amount of steps or less. Evening walks, a relaxing bath, cool and dark room. Ideally, you want to be under 70 degrees. You want a cool room, cool, dark, regular exercise. One of the additions that I brought in last year to my sleep architecture, as I call it, okay, my sleep optimization is I got a sleep mask, because there are lights, smoke alarm and blue lights all over, like these little lights, these LED lights around my room that light will penetrate your eyelids. I mean, your brain knows that they're there. So I got a sleep mask. My sleep has gone much deeper. It has improved significantly. So I highly recommend that. If you don't have one, go online, go on Amazon. I recommend you get one made out of silk. It's very comfortable, and they have those out there. So just some simple things you can do to optimize your environment. I also have a fan. I have 2 fans that run, white noise, and it helps calm the mind and the body and the nervous system. I have a box fan that runs at high. I have it on the other side of the bed. And then I have an air filter that also has its own humming white noise sound to it on the other side of the room. And I don't put it by my bed because I don't want it blowing cold air in my face at night. So I have it off the other side. So I have 2 sources of white noise. So when sleep is optimized, and again, this whole segment is about how to decrease sleep by optimizing sleep. You will optimize your resilience to stress, and by doing so, it'll help modulate cortisol and insulin, the stress hormones, but more importantly, the fat storage hormones, which block your ability to get weight off, burn fat, and keep it off. When sleep is optimized, stress resilience improves. Hormones rebalance in deep sleep, inflammation drops, detoxification pathways activate because your liver and other organs involved with detox are recovering and coming back online. Energy and focus increases, metabolism and fat burning speed up. Sleep isn't optional. As I tell all patients, it is foundational. It's foundational to global health and well-being. But more importantly, and relevant to the topic that we're discussing right now, to achieving an ideal weight, to getting lean and staying lean, to getting weight off, unwanted pounds. You don't recover because you're strong. You recover because you sleep well. You develop resilience. You don't manage stress. You become more resilient to it. And the way to do it, you get more recovery and more sleep. So I hope this was helpful, this segment. Next week, we'll be jumping into the Heart Smart content, doing a recap. And once again, I extend a warm invitation to you and your loved ones to join us on the 17th, right here in the office. We would love for you to be here, learn about how to grow a healthy heart, keep a healthy heart, 6:30 p.m. next Tuesday. Please join us. Everybody have a great Wednesday. God bless.